Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be working on one of my favorite species, the white stinkwood. So today we're going to be doing some autumn work on this beautiful tree, and I'm going to show you exactly what needs to be done. So a white stinkwood is a deciduous species. So that means the tree will lose its leaves in winter. So a lot of people freak out and they come to me and they're like, oh my word, my tree's dying. But remember, trees have to go through a natural cycle, just like us in life. So this tree is currently going dormant. So you can see all the leaves are turning yellow on the tree. A few of the leaves have already fallen off with the wind. So all I really want to do now is just help take off all the leaves on the tree, because I want to also give a little bit more movement to this tree, and we're just going to put a bit of wire on the tree where we want it to go. This is a perfect time of year to do this. So I'm not going to tug on leaves. If the leaf doesn't want to come off, just let it fall off naturally, or you can come back to the tree. So you can see these aren't ready to fall off yet. I'm tugging on them and they're not falling off. So I'm just going to keep going. So these ones fall off very easily. You can see these have turned nice and brown. But I'm just going to go and we're just gently going to clean up the tree. And this is going to be a lot easier to see the interior bits of the branches. So generally speaking, on your deciduous trees, they're generally exhibited when their leaves are off the tree, because you can see how much hard work has been put into the tree with the beautiful ramification. And I'm just going to go, and you can just gently just roll your fingers on the leaves. If they want to fall off, they'll naturally fall off, but never rush the tree. So remember, when you buy a tree, you must always research, is it a tropical species? Is it an evergreen? Is it a conifer? Is it a deciduous species? And if it's a deciduous species like this, then remember, it's going to lose its leaves in winter. Cool, so I think I've cleaned up most of the leaves, the ones that want to come off. And now it's looking a little bit more tidy. So I'm not going to do too much wiring on the tree. Generally speaking, I like to do the technique called clip and grow on these trees, but I will do a video on clip and grow on the deciduous species. But if you want to check it out, I've got another link to clip and grow, which I'll put a link in the video above, and that's more on your tropical species with clip and grow, but it's a very similar technique. So all I'm going to do is I want to wire these two branches outwards. I want to bring them down just a touch, and you can see they're starting to grow towards each other and inwards. So I just want to give them their own direction. So I've got some of my wire. Remember, on your white stinkwoods, they have very delicate, brittle branches, so we don't want to be too strong and vigorous. But what I want to do is I just want to measure how much wire I'm going to need, just like this. And I'm just going to cut it over there. And now we're going to do the two branch technique. So we're going to wire these two branches with one branch. So I'm going to come around nicely. And now you can see this wire is anchored to this branch. So now I can come to this branch. And we're just going to wire these branches out like this. Remember, keeping an equal space when you wire, and try keep a 45-degree angle. And we're going to go all the way to the tip. Now you can see how it splits into finer branches. I'm just going to follow the wire and go up one of the leaders. And I'm going to go all the way. And I'm just going to end it off like that. Now I'm going to come to the next branch and I'm going to wire this out. So this is a perfect time to wire a deciduous tree just before all the leaves have fallen off the tree. it's a really, really nice time to wire your trees. It's also nice because obviously there's not so much foliage on the tree now, so you can really see what you are doing. And now I'm just going to cut the tips of the wire just to neaten it up. And now with me wiring these branches, you can see when we bend the branches outwards, we can give it a bit more movement. And now they're not going to be growing towards each other. So I can fill up this nice negative space over here. And over here, I'm just going to bring this one down. And we can just wire it down nicely like that. So we're just going to go through the tree now. And if you see any branches that are starting to grow towards any other branches or upwards, and we just want to bring them down, it's a nice time. So you can see now this branch over here is growing upwards towards the branch over here. So if we just put a bit of wire on, we can just bring it down, and that will cover this nice negative space over here. So I'm just going to add some wire. I'm just going to get a slightly thicker piece of wire because the branch is slightly thicker than the more delicate ones at the bottom here. And remember, a good technique is you can push your wire down on the branch, and if the wire doesn't bend, then you know that the wire will be strong enough to hold this branch in place. So you can see a lot of these branches are all growing from one branch and splitting into two branches. So I'm going to do the same technique. I'm just going to do the 2-branch technique, measure how much wire I need. Obviously, the more experienced you get, you don't always have to cut your wire. You can keep it on the roll, and then obviously you won't waste as much wire, but we all have to start somewhere. So this is a nice, easier way of just measuring your wire and then cutting it. So I'm just going to start going through the branches. Now it's anchored to that one, so now I can continue this branch over here. Generally speaking, I normally prefer to wire standing up. It's a little bit easier, but for this video I'm just going to sit here and wire it for you guys. And we're just going to go nice and delicate. Cool, so now I can just cut this to neaten it up like that. And now I'm going to continue wiring that other branch. Even though this branch didn't need to be wired down too much, it's just anchoring the wire so that this one can bend nicely. So I'm just going to still wire it. Maybe we can just wire it a bit more downwards. And over there, I'm just going to finish it off and chop it over there. Cool, so now you can see it's not going to be growing so towards this branch. I'm just going to give it its own little space. And this is going to make the tree a lot happier in springtime when all those dormant buds start filling out the tree. So you can see this is a perfect example of what negative space is here. There's nothing growing in this section. So for instance, we could wire this branch down into that space, and obviously when this branch gets a little bit longer and stronger, it'll fill up that nice space. So this is a good time to just, figure out all the negative space on your tree and just start filling out those gaps. Because remember, you want your tree to look nice throughout the whole tree. I know bonsai, we always have a front of the tree, but it's always nice when the tree looks nice overall on the beautiful white stinkwood. So I'm just going to go through. I'm obviously not going to wire all the branches today, but I just want to give you a bit of an example of what to do at this time of year. I'm just hanging these branches slightly lower. And now you can see I've created negative space, but when these branches get a bit stronger, I'm going to bring these down and fill in that space over there. So another technique you could use, but generally speaking you do that on something slightly bigger, so this is quite a small little tree, but you could also put a piece of wire and attach it to this branch, and you could use it as a guide to pull it down. So normally you could do this on like a plastic training pot or so on, and then you could make a hole in the pot and you could attach it to the pot and you could bring it down. But I will show you this in one of the videos later on. But it's another nice technique you could do, is just by bringing a piece of wire and bringing the branch down like that. So you don't have to wire the whole branch if you don't want to. So that's a little bit of autumn TLC on your white stinkwood or deciduous bonsai. So I'm busy sitting in a little moss garden that I'm currently creating. And you know what? It's so nice to create these little spaces in your garden where you can do bonsai in and just take in the sunshine and the moment. So I really hope you enjoyed today's video. Please like, subscribe, and give me a follow on Instagram. And please share it to all your bonsai friends. I'm sure they would love to learn a little bit more.